You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Whip it in the nuts.
That sounds disgusting.
God, can you imagine if he did that? Like as a move? It's like full speed, just a fucking whip straight to the fucking nutsack. That guy would die.
Yeah, it would.
That guy would have to be like, make it quick.
Just coughing up blood and
Because
entrails.
you know, like I said, Tobey Maguire type Spider-Man, just be like, just a little tug and just rip his dick off.
Spidey sniper angles and shit.
Yeah.
Spider dick.
But I'll
Spider
have
dick.
Does whatever Spider Dick can.
All right, everybody, and
Whips
welcome.
it out, pulls on it. Sorry.
All right, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Couch Brotatoes. As Chris is spider web dicking everyone in the room right now. I am Alex.
Shit.
I'm not Spider-Man.
Morrison.
I'm Cap.
And if you can't tell, we're going to talk about the cinematic universe of Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi ones, the new ones the newer ones with Andrew Garfield and
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
I think we're the first generation of a live action Spider-Man audience, are we not?
Pretty much.
Yeah, because I remember when the first Maguire one came out.
Yeah, there was a TV show.
There was.
It was shitty.
Was there a TV show? I mean,
Yeah,
or
there was a live action
was it?
television show back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
80s.
I think it was on like
time,
CBS or something.
Yeah, it was around the time like superheroes was kind of making a comeback.
Right.
Around that time, they had like a Flash television show.
They had
And the Hulk TV show.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
They changed the Hulk's name to David Banner
Uh-huh.
on that show.
That's
David
right.
Banner.
Because they thought the name Bruce was gay.
Really?
The
Seriously? They
the
thought it
fucking
wouldn't
70s.
work.
Fucking 70s, dude.
Yeah.
And that sad, and remember the sad ass music they'd play in the Hulk?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's a rapper out of Atlanta called David Banner.
Yeah.
He wrote terrible songs.
Incredible Hulks, motherfucker.
Yeah. No, it's more like, run, girl, trying to get your body wet. Shit like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like a super villain with a hose?
It's like Yin Yang Twins or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
No, what was you guys' first exposure to Spider-Man? Because I'm sure you were exposed to it before the
The
Maguire
animated
movies.
television show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what's his
cartoons.
name?
Which one? Because there was a handful.
The one where what's his name from Aerosmith did the intro.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
the 90s
I remember
series.
that.
Got
Such
it.
a good show.
And I wasn't even a fan of those. I would see them in commercials and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that, but I never was a fan of that TV show at all. But I knew what it was.
Right.
Yeah, that show, if you think of it, is the first like cinematic universe for the
Because
heroes.
they were tying in the X-Men show that was running.
There was X-Men and then Captain America and Iron Man and
yeah.
the Hulk. And
like Fox Kids had a big Marvel Comics TV block along with Gargoyles and
God, I miss that show.
DuckTales and all that other shit.
Yeah.
Gargoyles was the shit.
All the Disney cartoons and
Yeah, Disney
all
and
that
Fox
too.
were already kind of shaking hands around that time for
That's
network,
right.
for the network stuff at least.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think one of the coolest episodes though was when he had all of them together. He had like
all the different Spider-Men, the Iron Spider and the
pretty
one
cool.
that was all silvered out, the Millennium Spider-Man and shit.
Oh, I remember that Millennium Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was all like silver embossed
and that was
shit.
the show. And
Yeah.
that was around the time they started continuing shows into a new genre, like a new aspect. Like, what was it? He gets stuck on a rocket at the end of that episode. Ends up in the future or some shit.
Well, yeah. So we'll actually talk about that animated series specifically because for me, I think that was my introduction to because I remember watching the show, but I also remember having coloring books that were stylized like the TV show.
Yeah. And that was actually the first time animation, like a TV show, animated TV show, used a lot of computer generated effects.
Yeah.
For shifting and moving.
Yeah, kind of like in between scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially some of the swinging scenes for Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and but no, that show actually ended on a huge cliffhanger because spoilers for the '90s animated series. It's over 20 years old at this point.
Spider-Man was part of 9/11. No,
Don't tell me what happens. I got to watch it now.
oh god.
Oh, too fucking bad. It's a weird plot point, but
Spider-Man is Kaiser Soze.
I will say though, I think this was the first time as a kid, because I do remember knowing about this, but then years later, after seeing the Maguire films, years later having Disney DX.
Yeah.
Or XD.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And they were showing syndicated episodes of the 90s animated series.
Right.
So I was able to finally rewatch a lot of them through that. And I remember finally catching it to where I was like, okay, now I know what order they're playing in, because they were actually playing them in order. And I was taping them. So I wound up having like an 8 VHS set of that fucking cartoon. And I wound up catching it just at the right time to where I caught it with episode 1, season 1. And I wrote it all the way out, and I caught the entire series on VHS in varying grades of quality, of course, but they left you on such a cliffhanger. I remember for the first time as a kid feeling emotionally moved by it.
Yeah,
like actually feeling sad by the way it ended, because the big lead up, I think, to the season before was Aquaman in cartoon ways killed MJ.
Yeah, and he made he drowned her.
Yeah.
That's DC though. Was it Aquaman?
No. There's a in that Spider-Man television show, they made a man who
Hydro Man. That's what it was.
Okay.
Hydro
Yeah,
Man.
he can manipulate water. Basically, he's Sandman, but water.
Yeah, so imagine
Gotcha.
Sandman, how he can turn into sand. This guy can... Okay, you saw Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
The big water creature?
Yeah.
That was
That's
him.
basically him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that character drowns MJ.
okay.
And that's how they end that season. So you start the new season with Peter trying to, avenge, her death or whatnot. But she comes back. But she's acting a little weird.
Yeah.
You find out throughout the season that she quote unquote lived, but she wasn't truly herself. She had the Hydro Man power. She was actually living water. She couldn't control herself, and she drifted away again.
She was a Hydra zombie.
Basically, for like a few episodes. But it wrapped up with Madam Web giving Peter the promise of a restart,
Right.
and that he could truly save MJ. And he walks through this fucking portal, black screen, and that's how they end the fucking series.
Yeah, because
Jesus.
it was actually the reason they really ended it, because they had wrote out what happens next. They ran out of money
Yeah,
They ran out of
Fox
money.
did not want to renew them and give them the budget.
because kids shows weren't as profitable
Yeah.
as like nighttime.
But it's like, I remember being like, maybe 10, 11 years old watching this on syndication at this point, like seeing that part and just going, oh, ow.
Well,
Like even me, because it's like, I love the MJ Peter relationship. So like seeing it crumble like that when I was like so invested in the show, and I'm just like, oh.
Well, there's that one Spider-Man show they made that right after that. where-
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah. He went to the future a little ways.
It was kind of inspired by the Spider-Man 2099 comic series.
Yeah, he had that cool look and everything, had that web cape.
And they kind of tried to tie it in, kind of how, they had the Batman animated series, and then they had Batman Beyond,
Yes.
which was supposed to be the same continuity just years later.
Yeah.
They kind of tried to do that with Spider-Man Unlimited by saying this was the same continuity all these years later. They tried to throw references to the 90s animated series, but that only lasted like a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that show. Do you remember any of the special comics y'all had? Did y'all have any Spider-Man comics?
No, I didn't.
I've got a big, actually big, quote unquote. I have an Xbox 360 box in my closet that's stacked full of old Spider-Man comics. So
Did you ever? I got a question. Did you ever get the black issue?
I did not, but I've read it.
I got the black issue. I didn't know what the fuck I was buying.
Oh,
So I was in 6th grade, and I buy the black issue, which came out in October
right.
of 2001, right after 9/11. And why is the front all black? And it just says The Amazing Spider-Man, October 1st,
in white,
In
just
white,
stark
in
white on the front.
just black and white lettering. And I opened it up,
No dialogue.
not a fucking word.
Was that a mistake?
Nope. It's a 9/11 issue. It's 9/11.
Yeah.
in Spider-Man. Like
Because
it's-
guess what?
It's New York.
It's New York.
Yeah.
So all of a
almost
sudden,
every major Marvel character is in that comic.
yeah, working alongside like firemen and police
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
first responders
And there was a big
stuff.
like first responders thing at the end.
Where it's like every penny from the purchase of the comic goes to first responders and shit like that.
I'm just picturing Chris getting that and just looking at it going like, just what was your reaction?
Oh, when I got it at home because I didn't even open it.
Yeah.
At the store because it was like a shitbag gas station, and I will say this is one of the last comics I ever bought.
It ruined you.
No. It's just at that time in my life.
okay, right.
I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
I'm shifting. And I want to say I still have it somewhere, but I remember opening it up and reading it like 4 or 5 times because there is dialogue in it, but it's not. It's not.
There's like maybe 4 word bubbles in the entire
And
like
it's
20,
just like-
30 or 20, 25 pages.
And it's
in
basically
there.
Marvel characters going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like one scene
The
where like
first- I think-
Spider-Man's perched up somewhere and he says like "Oh God," and
Yeah.
then like Captain America says like something like yells "Help" at one point,
Yeah,
and
they're, like,
shit like
saving
that.
It's just
They're
things
like-
like that.
They're like
Yeah.
saving people under iron and stuff. But the opener, it's a clear blue day, and you hear Cthulhu.
Yep.
And it's just it's when the tower collapses.
Right.
And holy fuck, they drew the way they drew that whole center just exploding. Is just fucking wild.
It was, and it was really cool having, not necessarily cool, but respectful having people like Spider-Man, Captain America, and Iron Man playing such a large role in that comic, considering they were so New York central and kind of allowing the characters to be affected by that.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
I've actually gone
But
online.
that's pretty intense fucking intro to Spider-Man for you.
Yeah. Like if you were like 5 in that goddamn comic, you know, fuck. I will say, even though it's probably one of the last comics I ever bought, people hate that fucking comic.
Really? I've
lot
heard
of
nothing but love for it.
A lot of people. I went online and looked it up, and like,
Is it one of those deals where people are shitty because it's
They're
quote
shitty
unquote
people.
commentary
they're
on
just
current
like,
events?
They're like, this is so fucking stupid. Why would they show superheroes during a real event? It's like,
Oh my
you're not
God.
understanding the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I can't change your mind.
Yeah.
Especially on something like that.
But for me personally, I love it.
I loved it. I had that comic for years.
I thought it was very respectful, and they basically they put every major larger than life character on the exact same platform as every regular civilian. There was no boundary, and that was the point. Is showing like these regular civilians are being superheroes. They are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, people like to get shitty when current events tie into their toys.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Yeah.
No.
But I feel like in a scenario like that, it's needed. Now, if
Absolutely.
DC and Gotham had responded, that would have been a little weird.
Well, that's the thing about Marvel comics, especially like Captain America punching out fucking Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Going after communists.
They've always
and fascists.
commented on real life shit.
Yeah, and like X-Men is a real life thing. Is based on racism.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Jim Crow. So I could see where they're coming from because maybe they've lost somebody and they
Right.
didn't want to see a fucking drawing of Spider-Man saving somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, we want that to be real, but it's a fucking fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were also real in it, and they weren't hiding the fact that there was a ton of death. It's
I think
just
if
they
you was
were
to buy it now, I think it's like worth $20-something now.
Yeah.
Like it's not a lot of
mainly because they just made a lot of copies because they were trying to
but
get
it's
a
one
lot
of those
of money
comics that you
raised.
should have.
Gotcha.
Like,
Yeah.
I think
Gotcha.
if you used to start like a small collection, that's a comic I would want to have.
Yeah.
That and Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, the origin of the black suit.
So, talk about Spider-Man for a second.
Well, but real quick though, Cap, what was your introduction?
Like I said, just cartoons that were kind of like peripherally being shown on TV when I
What
was
was the
watching
first
my
like
favorite
major
shows.
thing that you remember though?
Probably the movie.
Really? So
Yeah.
the movie was your main
I
introduction?
didn't give a fuck about Spider-Man until the movie,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
and because it was leading up to it, it was a kids
you-
cartoon.
Also,
know?
yeah, and also you weren't really too much of a comic guy, were you?
No, I
Aside
wasn't.
from Batman.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
said Batman was really the only comic you followed.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man just seemed a little bit too, I hate to use the word kiddie, but in my mind it kind of was. Kind of like I put it in that umbrella of like Power Rangers or something like that. But
Yeah.
then the movie comes out, and not only was it super successful, it made me a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah. And it basically just regained my love for it at that point too. But yeah, what you were saying.
With Spider-Man comics.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I kind of like Poco Osborne with and like turn the knife a little bit.
Right.
It's Marvel made 4 comics with the Transformers.
Right.
The original lineup comics. And there's 4 of them. I had 3 of them. Osborn had the 3rd. I believe in the 2nd and 3rd is the introduction of Spider-Man in the Venom suit in another comic.
Oh, okay.
And they came out around that same time.
Right. Came out same time. Secret
Venom
Wars,
suit.
yeah.
And he's fighting Megatron in the Venom suit. And I would fuck with Osborn constantly because he was like, he would talk him up and talk about it. So I went and bought him. You know, and I was like, hey, man, I got these other 3. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, you know, when I moved out of Cadaver, I was like, you know what? Why don't you just have that collection? You could have it, you motherfucker.
Probably shit a brick.
Oh my god, man! It was like, oh man, I wish I had all 4. Then I went and I bought 4. Then I bought 1 and 2, and I was like, I should buy 3 just to burn it. Well, that was me and him. That was when we came up with this idea of a show. Like we'd buy like nerd stuff and destroy it.
Oh, that's so mean.
On YouTube channel,
Like collector's items and shit like that.
Nerd Nasty. That's
Oh
what-
my
that-
god.
Now,
Nerd
the
nasty.
only way I would be cool with that is if you made replicas.
Oh yeah.
Make a replica, like actually
I would love
purchase.
that.
Do this. Purchase the real item, so you can show like the full transaction and it getting shipped to you and everything. But right before it's destroyed, there's some little camera cut, and you have a fake up there you've made, and then you fucking
But like
destroy
like
it.
a Funko Pop that's really hard to find.
Yes.
And just like put it down range and just pow. And put one right down the middle.
Exactly, just having a skeet shooting or
Yeah.
like a rifle shooting range
Yeah.
with
But
fucking
that'd be great.
fuckos.
But that'd be great. Actually, purchase the rare item. Like, actually, start building up
yeah.
a legit collection. Buy the rare item, but then build up a fake to destroy.
This is Neil Young's 1956 Les Paul Jr. Wham! Wham! Right this way, you broke motherfuckers.
and then a few years later, we do the Chris House tour, and he's like, "Here's that guitar. Here's the comic book, and
I got dinosaur eggs. Eat for
Do a Dave
breakfast.
Chappelle.
Yep.
Welcome to my crib, motherfucker. You broke bitch.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the idea I had. And I was like, oh man, we got to do that shit. And I was like, man, I was going to like comic book stores, finding like the really nice shit in the back, and like one was a signed Stan Lee 10. Mm-hmm. It was a replica of a Spider-Man cover.
Right.
And it was signed.
Signed.
But it was metal.
Right.
And it was signed by Stan Lee. And they wanted like $350 fucking bucks for it. I'm just like, and he had just died. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, man, that looked really good down range.
ouch!
Take it a 200.
That's a lot of money
taking a
to spend
200
just
yard,
to
a
say
250
fuck it.
foot
It's like,
shot.
oh man. It's like, oh man, this would make so many people upset.
Just get like a GoPro camera, and just like zoom in.
I
And
have.
just do the Spider-Man, the thing when he's in the movie where he's doing the thing with his hands. Go spider web. Boom!
And then you're just like, nothing has value in this house.
But no, I just thought about like just taking like the nerdiest shit, like an original copy of like Zelda NES, the gold, and blowing that motherfucker up. He's like, I'm actually going to make your possessions more valuable because I'm going to wipe this thing off the planet. There's nothing left.
Now there's one less in the world. Yours is more valuable. But yeah, so I remember the 90s series. I wound up getting some comics after I saw the movie, though. I remember really delving into the comics after seeing the film.
Yeah.
But really liking the TV show. And I remember also seeing the 80s show.
Well,
Do you remember
Spider-Man
that? Well, yeah, there was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and he also had another solo show. It's on Disney Plus now.
There was the Japanese Spider-Man too, wasn't there?
There was a Japanese TV show in the 70s, yeah.
I liked Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah,
I
that was
liked
cool.
that.
Firestar and Iceman.
Yeah, that shit was fucking hilarious. And at no
They
point,
all lived together,
Yeah,
but had like
yeah.
a weird secret bunker.
That show would be so relevant now.
Yeah.
Because we as adults can't afford to live by ourselves.
Ooh. Wait a minute. I
Yeah.
just had an idea. What about in the new series of Spider-Man movies when he goes to college, he winds up getting 2 roommates, and it winds up being
Iceman.
Iceman and
it's gotta be Iceman
Firestar.
from the X-Men movies.
Yes. Oh, I think that would be so cool.
And it just becomes like Three's. It just becomes
Yeah.
like
Three's
like
Company,
Three's
too.
Company, or like a fucking like what will happen next? 'Cause these guys don't get along.
have Deadpool with a Stan Lee mask come in,
Yes.
being Mr. Drummond. Well, what are you guys doing?
Oh my god. There you go. There you go, networks.
Take it.
I know $1 billion ideas right there.
$1 billion. Put us spitting them out since the beginning.
Now y'all are paying for this shit.
At least put us in the background. I know you can CGI that shit. I'll send you a headshot.
Yeah, draw us
Yeah.
in the background.
Right.
CGI us in the background somewhere. That's all I
Draw us
ask.
getting murdered by some thug.
I got a green screen and an iPhone 12 Pro. We got good cameras and stuff. We'll scan ourselves in and mail it to you.
Nobody's on set anymore. It's 2020.
Exactly. So we could shit. Tony Stark's scene in Endgame that I am Iron Man.
Yeah, all CG.
Snap. Yeah, that was green screen in his closet. That was a pickup scene. He
I believe
literally
it.
just got in quick makeup, set up a scene no bigger than like the area of this couch with green screen, kneeled in it, held it up and said, "I am Iron Man."
Tony
snapped his fucking
Stark
fingers.
did this in a closet and a green screen.
In his penthouse place in Manhattan. But no, but yeah, I liked Spider-Man as Amazing Friends, and the reason I remember the '80s series is I think I still have it. I want to pull it out just to kind of like display it because it's a cool little piece. I had a dual VHS set of that '80s Spider-Man series, and it was 2 episodes of him fighting Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
But the reason I really like it is at the beginning of each VHS tape, there's commercials.
Yeah.
Ads for other Spider-Man things coming out. And the coolest ad is on one of them. And that's part of the reason I want to find it and get like a VHS player because I want to watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube, but I want to do it the hard way. It's the commercial for the SNES and Sega Genesis game Maximum Carnage.
I remember that game.
And the commercial shows
It was
like
a side-scroller fighter.
Yep. The commercial is a bunch of people kind of walking like in New York, and the sky slowly starts turning red, and like clouds are kind of going overhead, and you see like people kind of looking up, and like in the clouds you see Carnage kind of like coming over the city and like doing this loud ass roar and shit, and there's like Maximum Carnage coming to a game system near you.
Was
and
that,
all that shit.
was this at the same time when Marvel vs. Capcom was out too?
Yeah. So it was that same kind of side scroller beat 'em
So
up.
you had SNES, right?
I had the original Nintendo, and then my aunt had a Super Nintendo that I played every so
What about like
often.
a Sega? Did you have a Sega?
I never had a Sega. I was a Nintendo boy.
Now this is actually when I got first introduced to Spider-Man. This is now I know it. I had to type it in.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo
Uh-huh.
had a game called The Amazing Spider-Man. Arcade's Revenge.
Yep. I know exactly which one you're talking
Arcade
about.
was a villain, and he was fucking stupid.
That's why you don't see him anymore.
He wore a white coat, wore checkered pants.
Yeah.
Had like frizzy hair.
Ridiculous.
He looked like a nerd.
Just like a video game villain
Yeah.
they just made up just to put it out.
Imagine a villain that owned a theme park for children.
Sounds like Kiss meets the Phantom or some shit.
Yeah. But anyway, you play a Spider-Man, and if I could get it as a poster, I would. Because the fucking cover, you know how to make video game covers back then? So badass. This one was a hand-drawn Marvel thing. And it was made by Marvel.
Yep.
The game was made by Marvel.
Yep.
It's Spider-Man swinging in, and in the background you see Cyclops fighting the Juggernaut.
Yep.
Wolverine, Canadian Wolverine, orange and brown.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
With his claws out, fighting like a robot or something. Storm.
So it was like a Spider-Man X-Men game.
Yeah, it was a Spider-Man and the X-Men versus Arcade's Revenge. And you play as Spider-Man for the first 10 minutes. Then you play as Wolverine. Then you play as Cyclops. Then you play as Storm.
Did this kind of have like the Streets of Rage kind of like format where you're just
Nope,
as
it's a
playing as a
platformer.
team?
It's a
okay.
platformer.
Oh, okay. Which one was the one?
I'll put it up on YouTube because holy shit, the soundtrack is
yeah.
all those games.
Just full on.
And it's just like, that is a hell of a riff. Like, I wish somebody would put that in a song. But it's like that 16, 32-bit.
just major key. Oh yeah, just major key shreddy kind of shit.
Just, oh my god, better
I
than the
love
Silver
it.
Surfer intro from
Yeah.
NES. But
Well, you brought up video games. I think Marvel vs. Capcom might have been my first exposure to Spider-Man,
Like
or at least
arcade, yeah.
definitely one of the earliest.
those games are so cool because they put everything in that cabinet.
Yeah.
You know, they could play it.
They had all the toys ready for you to play, like all the X-Men, the Hulk's on it, Iron Man's on it.
I used to use Hulk and
I used Spider-Man a lot.
I didn't use Spider-Man. I used Hulk and War Machine. I was a heavy hitter character.
I had a my heavy hitter was always Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I think I wound up doing I was trying to think about it. I think I did Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Iron Man. I think that was my team.
Those are fun games.
Yeah. Oh, I love them. I have it for the Xbox,
Hell yeah.
360. But yeah,
Love it.
so at this point, we might as well kind of delve into the movies. The first one being Spider-Man 1, Sam Raimi, villain Green Goblin.
For what it did for like the superhero movies.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
Because I think the only thing out
Did
before
not
that
age
was
well.
the X-Men. I think the only things outside before that was X-Men and Daredevil. I think those were the only two movies
Blade.
out
And
before.
Blade.
And Blade.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact about Blade. I didn't realize this until I watched the DVD recently. I watched the special fucking features, and there's a deleted scene at the end.
For Morbius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Y'all
Yeah.
couldn't play
Yeah.
that up anymore?
Yeah, that was a deleted scene.
Fuck Jared Leto.
I've seen that clip. Yeah, so you got Blade up on the rooftop talking to some chick, and
And it's daytime.
yeah, in the daytime.
Yeah.
And it's Morbius on the other side. And she's like, hey, who's that guy? And it's a long-haired dude way off in the distance on another building. He's like, Morbius. And you can see him like getting ready to get the sword out. It's
Yeah, and then it cuts.
like, where was that in Blade 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Then
Deleted
I read about it and found out that, oh, they didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's how it always goes.
Motherfucking money.
But yeah, other than that, it was Batman was like the big tier superhero
Yeah.
movie franchise,
And
and
Superman.
And people were still riding on the all the old Matt Reeves Superman films.
Yep. And they just...
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah, it's just Superman and Batman. There was really no Marvel property that was taken off outside of X-Men. Really,
Well, they
No,
had just bought
because-
it. That's when Sony had just bought it, right?
Well, Marvel was going through a lot of shit. Their comics weren't selling really well, and they were selling off and licensing a lot. And a bunch of studios were trying to do different movies at different times. Like there was going to be a James Cameron fucking Spider-Man film. Dead serious. But it never came to be.
That probably would have been cool because the way James Cameron does movies,
Uh-huh.
he does movies to try out little hobbies. So
Yeah.
can you imagine him trying like a POV web slinging shot, kind of
Right.
a Mirror's Edge game?
they kind of act out that scenario in a season of Entourage where the main guy tries out to be Aquaman for a James Cameron adaptation.
Yeah. And it came from that little thing because it's kind of become folklore now that James Cameron was trying to work on a Spider-Man film for like 3 years and it just never got off the ground.
Yeah.
It was a really good movie. Like when it came out,
The first Sam
Yeah,
Raimi.
Sam
Yeah,
Raimi.
yeah. And
fun.
definitely. And so it's like, so that's what wound up happening though, is that's why there was that weird Fantastic Four movie that came out in the late 80s, early 90s. You remember that?
The one that never got released.
Yeah.
Yep.
That got done though as an obligation because they had to do it or they lost the license.
Do you know we're talking about this Fantastic Four
Not the
shit
80s
show?
one, no.
This
Oh, God,
was a
it's so
shit.
bad.
You felt bad. Like there's a documentary about it.
Yeah.
And you feel bad for the people who are the actors in the movie.
Because they wanted to make it work so bad.
And they were trying all these tricks and stuff and like
That's kind of
visual
how
effects.
That's kind of how like the latest one went too. Like a lot went into it, and the
Yep.
studio fucked it up.
And it's the exact same.
Yeah, the what is it? The fuck.
The
One
new
with
Fantastic
the dude-
Four.
Yeah, the Fantastic Four with the dude. What's his nuts from fuck?
Fanfortistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fanfortistic.
Yeah, that
No,
one.
but the same shit happened with that. The only reason that movie happened is if they didn't make that movie, they would have lost the license. That was an obligation movie. So basically, that's what was happening with Spider-Man. These different companies were buying the property, not doing anything with it, and it would go right back up for auction. And finally, Sony stepped in and purchased it and got it just rolling with Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And if we want to think about it, Sam Raimi was a very interesting choice for Spider-Man.
Yeah, he made horror films.
I was gonna say, would you say Evil Dead is his like biggest claim to fame up
Oh
to that
yeah,
point?
that's what I knew him from.
His magnum opus.
Yeah.
Evil
So,
Dead 2.
so let's
Bruce
kind
Campbell.
of think about
Great movies.
the
Xena. No, he did Xena.
So let's kind of think about the character of Spider-Man. Teenager, college kid that can't hold a job, that works an internship, a freelance for a newspaper that gets, barely anything from his photos and is living out on his own, trying to take care of his Aunt May and dealing with anything between a petty crime to world-ending shit while keeping his secret identity hidden.
It starts off
Does
as a,
that scream horror movie director?
what blows my
The
mind.
villains do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it was such a good fit, because not only is I like the character of Spider-Man, Spider-Man and Batman have the best rogues gallery out of anyone. I think they have the best villains.
Batman's got some good ones.
That's what I was saying. Batman and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Did you think of all the major villains?
X-Men,
Doc Ock,
too.
Sandman, Venom, Joker. You know, it's like boom.
I will say Spider-Man has the one villain that I just fucking hate.
Who?
It's because he's so fucking pathetic.
Let me think. So pathetic.
He's
Give me some more hints.
His storyline is sad as fuck. He's
A Spider-Man villain?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's technically insane because of Spider-Man. Because of actions of Spider-Man. And you don't really see him a lot. He's in the games because he's a popular game character. He was in the animated show a lot. He looks cool as fuck. But it's just, this motherfucker is...
I think I'm down to 2. Scorpion.
Scorpion.
That was okay.
Matt Gargan as the Scorpion is the sad sack in the Spider-Man universe.
I was either going to say him or Craven because I could see.
No, I like Craven. Craven's the Vulture.
That's deep cuts for me.
No, Craven the Hunter.
Oh man, that would have been a good Blade entry.
Well, that's the rumor for the new Spider-Man film. Is Craven the Hunter?
Good. Good. I want him to be hunted the fuck down.
That's gonna be cool.
One thing about making the choice of Sam Raimi making this movie is that it starts off as a fucking like late '90s, early 2000s fucking teen movie.
Yeah,
and he does it really well.
Playing teenagers.
Yeah, exactly. But still, it still
you know
felt like
what?
a teen movie.
But even watching it now, it's not as bad as jarring as people say.
No, but there are effects in it that are just kind of weird, and there's continuity issues of something like weapons.
Yeah.
When I will say that I think the funniest thing is the whole. The Plastic Man Spider-Man swing.
Yes. Oh
MJ's
god, the
holding on to.
CGI.
She's going from right. From right to left, and her hair's blowing this same direction.
Opposite direction.
Yeah, the opposite direction it should be blowing. And the Spider-Man is a lifeless plastic figure. And she's holding
it's
on
basically
to.
a mannequin they dressed up in a Spider-Man suit, had her hold on to, and like blew her hair back. But
they
then
blew it
like
the wrong way.
Yeah, but it was
Shit, I
blowing
didn't
the
notice.
wrong way.
That's why I like I do say Sam Raimi has the best Spider-Man suit.
Yes.
That's a cool fucking suit.
I don't know. I do like the new spider suits. Except for the iron one. I'm not a big fan of the iron one.
Really?
Well, I'll explain that later when we get to those films. But no,
Fuck yourself.
the only
my point is made.
The only thing that is still jarring about the first film is the Green Goblin.
Really?
You
the Neo Genesis
the Power Rangers villain looking suits.
That's the reason, and so that leads to what Cap was.
Power Rangers.
Well, but that leads into what Cap was saying, to
It just
kind of
looks
considering
cartoony.
Spider-Man kind of a bit more in the Power Rangers teen kind of character. When your brand new villain for a debut movie looks like a reject Power Rangers villain,
Your actor already has a goblin face.
right. That's what annoyed me about it, is I saw Norman Osborn, I saw fucking Willem Dafoe, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's got the smile. Because, dude, when Norman Osborn's like going crazy and he's like looking in the mirror and kind of frowns and does that big smile, Willem Dafoe kills.
That's why I think Willem Dafoe should be the Joker.
Oh, God, yes.
Like in Ben Affleck or like in the new like Justice League movie or something, if they would show the Joker, it should be Willem Dafoe.
That would
An
be
old
cool.
Joker. Fuck, that'd be the shit.
That would be the shit.
But I would love. He's such a good villain.
yes.
And Willem Dafoe is the weirdest dude in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Next to Christopher Walken.
Yeah. and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say there's a director called Lars von Trier. Mm-hmm. You heard of this guy?
I've heard of the name.
Weirdest director in Hollywood.
Like, what were his movies?
The house that Jack built.
Okay.
Some really fucked up movies in horror, like Martyrs. Okay.
Never saw Martyrs.
It's fucked. It was like Serbian film fucked up.
Oh, God.
But anyway, Willem Dafoe did a movie called Antichrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a whole fucking... I can't even describe it.
He played Jesus Christ in the Last Temptation of Christ, too, didn't he?
Yeah, back in the day.
And David Bowie was Pontius Pilate.
Yeah. The days when rock stars could be in film. Don't you miss that shit?
That's all rappers.
But no, man. Lars von Trier said, hey, what was it like working with Willem Dafoe? Because there's a lot of nude scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
He's like, Willem Dafoe has the biggest dick I've ever seen. And I'm just like, Lars von Trier's worked with some weird motherfuckers too. So. But like, he's like, for the guy, like, you don't see that.
I was picturing the part in the movie where he's like trying to like, read Peter Parker's like body language and him just going like, hello, say, hey, Parker.
I distracted you.
So,
you know how I fitted in this suit, motherfucker?
let's kind of go through the rest of the casting. What do we think of Harry Osborn?
James Franco.
James Franco.
I mean,
He did all right.
mean, James Franco's a good actor. I mean,
Yeah, he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I think of Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
But not for that movie.
lost his career, right?
Yeah, for that movie, he did a really good job. No, Freaks and Geeks did that.
But this was like his first movie, major movie or whatever.
Yeah. No, he was good because he seems friendly, and he's a guy you kind of like. Oh yeah, Peter needs a friend.
Yeah.
and he was the friendly guy. Tobey Maguire does a great job. I don't like Kristen Dunst.
I was gonna say, what about MJ, Kristen Dunst? What about it?
Just something about it. Like every time you see Kristen Dunst, what's her hair color?
Yeah,
blonde.
yeah.
Everything
because,
she's in, she's blonde. And
Yeah.
then you decided to should have made her Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And snapped her fucking neck in number 2.
No, because we grew up watching Jumanji and shit like that, where they're in it, and like she's got, just like
That's such
She's
a good
not in
movie.
Jumanji.
yeah,
she
she's
is.
in the
She's the
first
little
one.
girl.
She's the
She's
little
the little
girl, little blonde girl in it.
The
Kristen
original
Dunst?
Jumanji.
Yep.
Oh, the original Jumanji. Yeah.
Not that.
No, not the Rock Jumanji.
Well, because we watched the new ones recently, so that was the thing that was in my head.
I
was like,
haven't watched
wait a
the
minute.
recent ones at all.
I was like,
They're
that
fun.
blonde chick is.
I watched the first Jumanji a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, I did too. It's such a good game.
No, the new ones are good.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I can see that. But people are kind of going on her for acting. I thought her acting was fine.
I don't like the way they did, like the way Sam Raimi did her. Mm-hmm. They didn't ground her as much as they did Spider-Man and all the other characters.
Okay.
They have a base. She doesn't have any base.
I feel like she did. They kind of gave her the abusive family relationship thing.
Yeah, but like
because there was that scene where
as
Peter
the
walked
movie-
outside
as the
and
movies go on. Oh, she becomes a singer. She does this and this. She becomes an actress and all this.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, if you know who the fuck Spider-Man is with an inkling, you're not going to put yourself in the public eye that much.
well, she didn't. She didn't know until the end of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
By then, she is already on Broadway and making herself known.
That aspect of her and then tilting toward that so much
Well,
is weird.
Well, don't forget though, she was like a soap opera star and a model and stuff like that in the comic books
Yeah.
throughout the 80s and 90s. So I mean that was just kind of like trying to find a current way of doing it, get her on Broadway instead of being I mean, because we even saw the model thing a little bit in Spider-Man 3 when Gwen Stacy was introduced.
Yeah.
So because she was part of the kind of scene also.
That's
But,
played by Gwen Stacy's Bryce Dallas Howard.
yeah. But yeah, so
The redhead
The real redhead. The real fucking redhead had to dye her hair blonde, and the blonde dyed her hair red. Where does that make fucking sense?
because I'm Sam Raimi, God
well,
damn
MJ's
it.
red
He
hair.
did that because he fucking hates Ron Howard.
MJ's red hair
fuck.
looked like fucking like early 2000s mall punk kind of shit
Yeah.
too.
But
It's
I
a high
dug
school
it.
movie.
It kind of gave it a little bit of that pop art vibe to me.
The bully fucking shirt did.
Oh god,
Yeah.
That dude's like
that guy
fucking-
was early 2000s as a motherfucker.
But now he's like fucking
Flash.
Zeus with fucking Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, that's her husband. That's her ex-husband.
Yeah.
But the dude he fights
Yeah.
is solid 25-30. Like, and he's built like a motherfucker. It's like, I went to high school. I knew a lot of built athletes. No, you don't get like that till your college years, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He was held back a lot.
And get this, he was being interviewed recently, and someone was talking about, so what was it like working with Tobey Maguire?
Yeah.
And he was like,
Who? No.
well, yeah, kind of a little bit.
Actually.
He was like, well, I mean, he was a little tough to work with.
I've heard that.
And he goes, there may have been a time or two where someone was trying to slip me some money, going, hey, just one take,
The stunt guys.
hit him. Yeah.
Kick his
the stunt
ass.
guys.
And like the lighting guys and stuff. And he said he like looked up at a lighting guy and he just kind of looked down at him and gave him like a little nod.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
He did the nod from Karate Kid. Sweep the leg.
Yeah, basically they're just like, dude, just one time.
Flash Thompson
Can you
is a
pop
bad
him? Can you pop him for me, please? But yeah, I
do you
think
feel-
overall a really good movie. I like the
How do we feel about Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker? I know we've talked about it.
I was
here and
avoiding
there,
that because I
but-
feel like that was going to be the wrap up.
Oh,
Is the
okay.
first,
We'll come back to
the
that
three-way
then.
verses.
No, we can come back to that though.
I like, what's his, I don't like the Aunt May kind of thing. They made him too old.
Yeah, that didn't bug me. I mean, mainly because I guess in the comics they were pretty old. They've just been getting younger
that's
and
the problem I
younger.
had with the comics, dude. Like the story of Spider-Man. Why the fuck is Aunt May so old? When he was
I
a
have old
child,
aunts.
but he was a child when his parents died. So let's
Yeah.
say let's say roughly 7.
Right.
His parents would be in their 20s.
Well, I mean,
He's 17, 18. His parents would have been in their 30s, if 40s. The dad probably would have been in his 40s.
right.
why does Aunt May is 70 some years old waiting to die?
Why do parents decide to have children later on in life? I don't know.
I think honestly,
That's the only explanation I have.
I think Aunt May is in her 60s, and if you want to think at it this way, so like my sister, there's a 10-year age gap. So by the time she has a kid, I would be the older uncle.
Yeah.
So even in that regard, I mean, there's a 10-year difference between just me and my sister. So I that to me just doesn't feel like too much of a stretch.
The argument of a 20-year difference or 20+ year difference between siblings in that regard.
Yeah.
But the guy that played Uncle Ben was really good too. I forget his name, but he was really good. Say what?
Martin Sheen.
No, it wasn't. No, that was the other Spider-Man. This one was Cliff something.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He looks kind of like
veteran actor. I forget his name.
He looks like
though.
John Walsh from Unsolved Mystery.
My first thought was like 90s era Johnny Cash.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yeah. I see that too.
Man.
I can't. You know what? I'm gonna look up his name.
Yeah, look him up. But no, I like that casting. All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't like the casting of Aunt May and Uncle Ben in the second series.
I like the little cameos that all of Sam Raimi's friends would do here and there throughout the movies too.
All right, best cameo in Spider-Man 1.
Bruce Campbell. No, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go. I was going to say that is Bonesaw.
I got
Ready
you
for
3 minutes. And then he dies.
Yep.
and Spider-Man, Peter Parker throws out an absolute like homophobic comment to him. He's like, "Oh, that's a cute outfit. Did your husband make it for you?"
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly today.
Not Cliff Robertson. That was Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I dug
Did you
him.
just assume my Uncle Ben? No, it's.
I also like how Bruce Campbell named Spider-Man.
The spider boy. What did he say? Like a human? Oh, wait, no,
The
right,
human spider.
Yeah, he called him
He's
human
like,
spider
human
first,
spider,
and
what
then
the
he's
fuck
just
is
like
that?
Spider-Man.
Basically,
Yeah.
he's like, "What the fuck is that? That's lame." And he goes, "The amazing Spider-Man."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, it's the human spider." And then those the WWE girl type girl, they're getting all up in her and say, "Oh, you're like a fucking arachnid. We're gonna skin you limb from limb."
And it still felt like I was saying earlier, it was like a teen movie, but it still picked up and got a little bit more intense as the movie went on too, through moments like that.
I love that Bruce Campbell was in that movie because he does the narration of the Spider-Man the movie game and GameCube.
Yes.
And he's telling you, don't go that way, stupid.
Yep. And couple little fights in there. The one where the building's on fire with the Green Goblin. That was
that's
pretty
pretty
cool.
wild.
With just that random like Wilhelm scream. That
Yeah. The parade.
the parade was cool.
attack.
With what artist?
It was Macy Gray.
Yep, Macy Gray.
That was a long time ago.
I know, right?
I just remember that because they like blatantly say in the movie, "Here is Macy Gray."
Talk about a continuity error. What about when the Green Goblin throws that fucking disintegrator bomb up there?
Oh, yeah, and they just turned to ash.
Yeah.
For the
Except
skeletons.
for MJ, who is like 2 feet away.
Yeah. And then he uses that same shit on Spider-Man, and Spider-Man just goes flying back.
Yeah.
Yep.
You mean you have a weapon that turns people into atoms?
You do
You
that.
didn't use that on the super-powered character?
That's kicking your ass
Yeah.
all day.
He got a little scratch on his face though.
Yeah, poor baby.
And yeah, and the spider, actually we skipped over it. The spider sequence was cool. I like the way they decided to do that, the breeding of all the different spiders, and it being the school field trip.
That harkens back to the comics and stuff, like the
Big
old
time.
comics. And
Yeah.
stuff.
And
And I do like when they show that, like in like this, like we'll get to it, but the second part,
Yeah.
that part was really cool.
It was
the
interesting.
Andrew Garfield,
Yeah.
He's like, hey, there's one missing. Tobey Maguire did the same thing. Hey, there's one missing. That's why the fuck are you not evacuating? Like, what the fuck? Well, these things
You're talking about genetically enhanced super spiders, and he just said
that
one's
bite you
missing,
and give you cancer.
and they're like, yeah,
think-
and both movies are just like, oh, okay, moving on.
Yep.
I like this movie's transformation, sequence where like Peter Parker's becoming Spider-Man, where
Yeah.
he puts his glasses on and he
Can't
can't
see
see
shit.
through, and he takes his glasses off, can see perfectly fine,
And
like
he's
20/20
fucking
vision.
jacked.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
looks in the mirror and he's like, whoa. I'm about to get all the pussy.
Yeah.
that was the look on his
And gets none.
but here's the thing though. Did you notice he does go because Aunt May's yelling for him. She's like, Peter, are you feeling okay? Because he came in feeling bad and everything.
Yep.
So she was like, are you feeling okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like kind of looking at himself, kind of doing
Yeah.
like this, and she was like, are you sure? Are things good? And he's like, yeah. He looks down. You see his arms move a little, like he's like pulling his like boxers out some, and he goes, "Yeah, things are great.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here going, I'm like, yeah, the spider bite gave you a bigger dick. Sure.
So is this poison or?
And
Does it work?
I thought it was pretty brutal how he came after Aunt May.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up.
He was kind of a little asshole after a minute.
Yeah,
in all
'cause-
these movies.
Yeah, because he figured out who Parker was because of that scene at the parade. Because
Yeah.
Spider-Man got that nick on his shoulder. Shows up to a very well done scene.
This was
that
a Sam.
Thanksgiving scene.
This was a Sam
where
Raimi
they're
fucking.
all wearing their colors. They're
yeah.
wearing their own colors.
Yeah, it's like Spider-Man wound up having some of the red seeping through, but Norman had like kind of a green suit on
Well,
and everything
even when
else.
they tint the lighting a little bit, like when they show him, you see the fight scene when they're in the garden.
Oh yeah.
When you
I'm
see-
talking about the
Yeah,
Thanksgiving
I
table
know, but
scene.
the lighting, that's what Sam Raimi does, though. He does it.
And I like the where the blood drops and then Norman notices it and he kind of like looks around and makes that scene really fucking intense too.
Oh, yeah.
And like Peter's just up where Goblin can't see him. He can feel the fucking blood drop, but he can't tell Spider-Man's up above him.
Yeah,
or
because
just let him get
because
away.
he's trying to swing in to get changed real quick because he's still in the spider suit because Harry and Norman have already shown up and now Aunt May's like, oh, he went out to the store to grab stuff. But when he swung in, they heard a and they look upstairs. They're like, oh, well, he must be here.
Yeah.
So that's when he had to hop up to the ceiling, and that's when that blood drop thing came down. He thought he patched it up well enough, and just that intense scene at the table right after that, where he's just like, "Yeah, I'm fine," and then my Aunt May's like, "Oh, Peter, you're bleeding," and just that slow realization on Norman's face.
It kind
And
of
he's
reminds
like,
you, you get a reminder of that, like in the Michael Keaton villain.
yes,
Exactly.
and I love that. And talk about the lighting. Same thing happened with that, except it was just tone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was so cool, and he was just like, How did you say you got that? And he's like, bike messenger clipped me, and all of a sudden he's just like, I gotta fucking go.
He's like, right.
Yeah, he's like, right, you little liar, I gotta go now. Zoop! He's out the fucking door.
Yeah.
No, that was a very well scripted and well timed scene. That was done really well.
Sam Raimi using his little horror tricks.
I like the final fight.
Yes, the final fight was also very intense. I liked a horror trope he threw in, which was after Peter got blown back a time or two, his mask was all fucked up. There was a time in which Norman was about to take a charge after him, and Peter goes both hands spiderweb, and it almost sounds like metal.
Yeah.
And like Norman's like walking through, and it almost sounds like crunching metal and wire and stuff. Yeah. That was really cool. It made it super intense.
And the kind of like a one last fuck you for Green Goblin when he has that his glider come back at him from behind.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man just dodges that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the end of him.
Yep. And I love it.
Oh, that's fucking sucked.
Here's since Spider-Man is like my bread and butter, here's a weird nerdy fact about that fight scene. So you notice a lot in that fight scene when Peter gets punched or Norman gets punched, a lot of spit is flying.
Yeah.
And there's a scene even where Peter got knocked down hard, and I think like something pulled down on top of him, and he's kind of like kind of getting up from the ashes, and they do a shot of Peter kind of looking up, breathing heavy, and you see like the spit kind of like rattling right underneath his lip. That was not spit when they filmed it.
Blood?
It was blood.
Shit.
Yeah, they had to CGI and digitally rechange it because there was too much blood. But there is a copy of it out there, like unedited on Blu-ray, and I think I have it. I hadn't checked it in a long time.
So Willem Dafoe was talking to the stunt guys and going, "I got this."
Because think about it. Think about it. Look at that final Norman scene. His mouth is full of blood.
Yeah.
That was something they couldn't really change and cut too much. But yeah, Peter had a full bloody mouth just like Norman did during that fight scene.
Yep.
Yeah, and leaves it on a pretty somber note where MJ finally comes around to Peter, but Peter's like, no, I can't do it now. Shit's changed a lot in the last few weeks, and I can't tell you about it. So sorry, Charlie, I'm taking you out of my top 5 on Facebook, on MySpace rather.
MySpace.
This is 2001, right?
And then it ends on an epic little swing scene.
Tom is still my motherfucking friend.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so
solid
overall
movie.
a great overall, a great little introduction. I would say the next one is probably my definitive Spider-Man
Oh, yeah,
movie.
that's your shit.
And it's Spider-Man 2.
There was a lot of hype around it too. This was like when I was going to school. This was as big as like say a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2 and 3 are the ones I remember the most because after knowing about the comics, seeing the cartoons, and Mom rented the movie for me. I didn't get to see it in theaters, but she rented it for me. I swear I almost broke that DVD. I don't think it left the player for the full week we had it rented from Blockbuster. Like I watched that thing over and over and over, and it became an obsession for me just because.
I went to the theaters and saw it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh God, I wish I would have.
That was a pretty. Yeah, I remember going to the theater. More so.
Yeah, I wish I
think I
had.
went- I went to the one in
I
Jackson.
think I saw Spider-Man 2 in theaters. I don't, and I did see Spider-Man 3. I know I saw those two in theaters, but no, I didn't see the first one, sadly. But no, second one, this time we had Alfred Molina.
Great villain.
Here's a little fun fact for you about Alfred Molina.
He hates the Jews.
No.
Does he? I know nothing about him personally.
Early days of the internet, by this point, I figured out Spider-Man 2 is going to be filming. So I'm on the message boards and all this stuff. And it came out and it said, Alfred Molina is starring in it. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. Whatever. But it's Doc Ock. And it said, they're in the middle of like production and filming and stuff. I don't know how I found it, but just doing a search on Alfred Molina, I found a phone number for him. And I was like,
You didn't call Alfred Molina, did you?
I fucking called the number.
No, shit.
Just straight to voicemail.
No.
Just a mad Spanish woman on the other end being like, stop calling our number.
I answer and I hear, "Hey, hello." And I'm like, "Hey." He's like, "Yeah, who is this?" Like, is this Alfred Molina? He goes, "Yeah, how'd you get this number?" And I just immediately hung up. I was like, "Oh fuck!"
You left your shit out there, bro.
He's in a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff overseas. A lot of dramas and stuff.
yeah.
I just remember him from Raiders of the Lost Ark being the guy that gets killed by the spikes
Yep.
at the beginning of the movie.
But I thought he was a great Dr. Octavius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so far, aside from the Vulture in Homecoming, I think he's been the best Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, he's
On screen for
badass.
sure.
On-screen villain, yes. No, I think it was very well played. I thought the conversations between he and Peter, like at the dinner table before the experiment happened, was really good because it showed that the two of them came from the same mind frame. Yeah. What happens when the same circumstances that happened to Peter happened to him?
Yeah, and a scientific accident.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another scientific accident, another brilliant mind.
Well, that's if you read the comics and stuff, it delves into that relationship a lot.
Yeah.
And Doc Ock becomes Spider-Man.
In the newer series, yeah. So that was a weird mind swap thing.
That was wild.
Yeah.
No. In one series of comics, before these movies came out, there was a series of comics where Peter had died.
Yeah.
And Doc Ock was like, "Oh shit, we can't continue." It was around the time Doc Ock had stopped,
Yeah.
but had realized that we can't continue on without a Spider-Man.
Right.
So he took up the mantle.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
They
that's
did it.
that's the Superior Spider-Man storyline, and yeah, that came out about
I didn't
maybe
know that
5 or
was a
so
thing
years
either.
ago.
It looks badass. His Spider-Man was so much because he was willing to kill. Doc Ock Spider-Man kill people.
Yeah,
I like how I like the scene
there
where
was a lot of big backlash on that because, like I said, that came out in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, and I was listening to podcasts reviewing it, and they're like, "This is garbage."
shit.
I liked it. I had a few of them.
I like that one scene that's in the movie where he's talking to his appendages.
Yeah.
And that
Yes.
and that kind of has like a little Sam Raimi, horror trope to it.
No, the best Sam. Yes, I agree with you. I said no preemptively because I'm sitting here going, the best Sam Raimi horror scene in that.
Is the operation?
Yes, right after the explosion, the operation, when you find
Yep.
out that the tentacles are sentient.
Yep.
Because I think that was a new trope. They didn't really do that in the Ultimate Spider-Man comic line, which oddly enough was the ones I wound up collecting the most. That was running concurrently with the new movies coming out, so it was kind of pulling from the movies a little bit. So in that comic line, the tentacles became sentient and kind of controlled and
and everything,
communicated
too.
with them and everything. But I honestly thought that was a really cool dynamic, having them kind of take over him.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
That was kind of like the big dynamic of Spider-Man 2 outside of Peter and MJ's bullshit.
And I thought their bullshit was much better handled in this movie. I thought their relationship was a lot better. Plus, her hair was more of a natural red in this one.
See, but that's not an on-screen.
For Chris.
That's not an on-screen couple that kind of like it. That felt, it was okay, but it felt more forced than anything in all three of the movies.
I don't think they liked each other in real life.
Yeah, really.
Well, because apparently Tobey was hard as fuck to work with.
Yeah,
so
I
mean,
fuck Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
But I think one of the coolest scenes in that movie is when they're just sitting in that diner.
Yep, that was the scene I was thinking of.
And the car just comes flying through.
That was the trailer.
He's like, I know where you at, motherfucker.
Have you seen the way they've made that scene?
Yeah.
It is so cool. Yeah, so they start with a scene of Maguire and Kristen Dunst in that holding each other kind of spinning position with a bunch of green screen, and they kind of throw some debris and fans on it, and they film them spinning, kind of and sliding backward. But then they take it they build up like a legit coffee shop and throw a fucking car through the window, film that, and then put the two of them over top of it with a little bit of layering and editing. And then, but they threw a fucking car through a window.
Now,
it's the juggernaut, bitch.
Now, I would have liked Spider-Man 2 to have been in the first movie.
How so?
So I don't like origin stories a lot. Mm-hmm. This worked out fine because this is the first big Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
But like Batman, we don't need to see fucking them die. His parents die constantly or some shit. But in the Spider-Man video game, the PS4 they made, would not do a Spider-Man movie where he's friends with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
And he's working with Doc Ock like on the side. Mm-hmm. And who's coming in to fuck with Doc Ock? Norman Osborn.
Right.
Why does he become Doc Ock? To fuck over Norman Osborn because he keeps stealing his fucking shit.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been the way they do the game is I think the dialogue between Spider-Man and Doc Ock in the video game is so much better than the dialogue between, like, Alfred Molina plays a great Doc Ock, and like as his friend, it's his buddy, but the way they do it in that fucking video game is that's the best Spider-Man movie you could ever watch.
It is great.
But I'll make the same argument that I made for the Batman games, is that you have that much time to tell a story and you have more creative freedom to kind of like build it a little bit, when in a movie frame you only have 2.5 hours.
Well, let's think about that. Like the timeline of the storyline is only about 2.5 hours.
You think, oh, really, for the new Spider-Man games, even with all the cutscenes together and all that? That sounds like a game I could just blow through now.
But like, I'm talking about between like the Spider-Man and the Doc Ock.
Oh, just like situation. That entire conversation. Yeah, there you go. Because they had like all the room and the time to do it.
Right.
And like the conversation, it was like, I trusted you, and like Peter Parker's like, motherfucker, I was your friend. I treated you like a father, you piece of shit. Like, I should let you die. And I was like, yes, that's the Spider-Man I want to see. I should let you die, motherfucker.
Well, that dynamic was kind of there, towards the end of this movie, right?
Yeah, because he sacrifices himself.
He does. And I thought that was actually a pretty cool scene, although I appreciate them taking the moment at the final scene to show MJ who Peter was.
Yeah.
Or show, reveal the identity, rather. But the way they did it was so dumb.
Yeah, it's kind of goofy.
Yeah, because it's like he turns around and she's like, Peter.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
And it's just like, really? After all this time, you couldn't guess. I like the stories when MJ guesses.
When you did a 360 lateral spin out of a coffee shop
with
that scraggly little boy, and you're thinking, nah, he's not the same.
There's no way.
Nah, that was just luck.
Yeah. And he just so happens to always be around when Spider-Man's around.
That one time I caught all the shit on my tray perfectly that during lunch.
Yeah. That time he beat up the bully. He was like 6'4", 280 pounds, and he beat his ass like a pinball game. Like,
meanwhile, MJ's just like, nah, there's no way he's Spider-Man.
But seriously though,
you're
it's
a
like
pussy.
not this sad bastard that calls me every day.
Yeah, Peter, run away! Spider-Man's coming to save us.
But no, I really do like the stories though, where MJ kind of figures it out.
Yeah,
or it's like Peter still has to tell her, but she kind of does the I kind of knew. I was letting you have it kind of thing. I like when MJ kind of comes at it from that. Thanks for telling me. I kind of figured it out. I wasn't sure, but I was going to let you ride with it. You're cool. I like that MJ attitude. So yeah, just that out of a perfect movie, that would probably be my only gripe with it, is just that one reveal scene that just was just like, I should have known. And I'm like, damn right you should have known.
But then Harry Osborn tried to kill him at the very end too and find out who he was as well.
So Harry got a wild hair up his ass and was just like, fuck
he
Spider-Man.
pretty much hires Doc Ock to catch the motherfucker.
Yeah. And it was just like, fuck Spider-Man. And before Doc Ock sacrificed himself, he delivers him to Harry. And Harry finds out who he is and all this stuff. And Spider-Man throws a fucking pimp-ass moment in that scene, too. Because you realize, he shows Harry, I was allowing you to talk to me.
Yeah.
Very subtly within a visual thing, because when Harry takes off the mask, when he takes it off, Peter's already awake.
Yeah.
His eyes are open.
Yeah.
And he tries talking to him for a minute, laying there. And Harry keeps going at him. Then Peter gets up and goes... and fucking just like ripping a piece of paper just undoes all the binds that are around him. And that was such a fucking power move that I love. Just being like, look, motherfucker, I was letting you have me tied up here for a minute. I was going to talk to you, but you're being a dick.
You almost fucking stabbed me.
I gotta go. City's in danger. Girl's in danger. I'll deal with you later.
This is where he hits his head, ain't it?
No, that's the next movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the next movie.
Yeah,
because shortly...
The way that makes that noise. Tink. I was just like, oh, he's dead. Oh, they killed a main character. Bravo. Bravo, Marvel. Bravo.
Oh, that would have been a better story than what they did.
God, he died in his head going 100 miles into a lead pipe.
So Peter fucks off to go deal with Doc Ock when he sacrifices himself, but Harry's still sitting there stewing in it. And he starts...
do so much drugs.
Yeah, and he starts hearing that...
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Like that, and then he turns around and looks, and Norman's talking to him in the mirror.
Yeah,
like Norman was talking to the Green Goblin in the mirror in the first movie.
Stupid.
It was a little odd, but then Norman yells, "Avenge me!" And Harry, no! And he throws the fucking dagger.
And he sees all this shit.
And it opens up the Goblin lair, and he sees all the shit.
That's what I liked about, like, let's go and move on to movie number 3. There's a scene where the butler tells him everything.
Yeah, near the end. Oh, we'll get there. Trust me. I have some gripes on Spider-Man 3. I like it.
Really?
I don't.
You don't like it?
I don't hate it as much as some other
masterpiece.
I don't hate it as much as some other people do.
I fucking hate it.
I definitely don't hate it.
It's a bad movie,
but there are some bad parts in it.
It's like watching a circus catch on fire.
I will say now, leading into it, kind of as a review, seeing that scene where Harry walks in and even picks up the Goblin serum, and it does that slow fade back where it shows the mask and the glider and kind of a silhouette of him holding the green glowing tube. And then, MJ leaving fucking... we hadn't talked about J. Jonah Jameson the entire time.
I was going to save that till the end.
Me too.
Me too. I was honestly,
And by the way, J.J. Simmons.
Yeah.
Should get an Oscar.
Yes.
But then
for being Alex Jones.
but then leaves J. Jonah's kid at the altar, because that was the subplot, as MJ was about to get married to the astronaut. Which, side note, that was the astronaut that was supposed to take the Venom serum to Earth.
Yeah.
Fun fact. So that's where my brain's going. I'm just like, oh, they've introduced the astronaut that's gonna bring Venom down. I'm getting excited.
And we got Venom, all right.
I would have loved if they had that. Like, they never do that. Like, that astronaut in the comics, nothing else really happens. In the comics. What if?
Well, he did become Wolfman.
Yeah, but what? Why not make him a villain?
Yeah.
Why not make him be the first Venom?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you motherfucker, I know you.
Especially if there's an MJ relationship dynamic.
Like,
well, that wasn't in the comic. That was new for the movie.
Yeah. But I was just like, because it was in the animated series too. Because it was J. Jonah's son and everything. Yeah. Because that was the whole thing about Scorpion. J. Jonah Jameson created Scorpion.
Yeah, he did that in the 60s cartoon too.
Yeah. But I was just like, why not have the astronaut just been like you and just like take that Venom suit and just go after Spider-Man. Yeah,
so how are you guys feeling kind of coming out of that movie, not knowing anything about Spider-Man 3, just finishing the movie in the theater? Were you ready for a next one? Or?
Yeah, I was ready.
Well, it left you with plenty of meat on the bone between fucking Harry Osborn's storyline and
Peter and MJ's yes
and
MJ. And no,
yeah,
it's like
back and forth.
It's like it was a kinda yes. It's like she left him at the altar, but Peter didn't still give her a full yes.
Yeah.
But so it's like it was kind of left on the, I guess so. actually, kind of thinking on it, that final scene really is kind of poetic and sad because she comes running in the dress, and he's like, "You look beautiful." And basically, just in so many words, was just like, I'm yours, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And you can tell in his face and by his reaction, he accepted it. But as soon as he was about to fully embrace it, he had to swing off.
Yeah.
And that scene of MJ in Peter's window in the dress, it does that big heroic thing when she was like, go get him, Tiger. She gives him the approval, go get him. He throws the mask on, it's doing the big, orchestral, big thing. He goes swinging off. But when they end the note, they end it on a minor chord. They change it ever so slightly. The very last note is
sinister.
It's not sinister. They did that when they did a slow pan in on MJ's face. Kind of that realization for her of,
this ain't gonna work out.
This is what I signed up for.
This is how it's gonna be.
Yeah, just kind of that slow realization of like, oh fuck, okay, this is gonna be work.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And I think that was just a really cool poetic way to kind of end that film.
Like rewrite the ending as what would have been cool is him flying out that window. Changing into the suit, blah blah blah, and across the street in his house is Bruce Campbell being like, what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he doing? And it's just like, holy shit, he's the Spider-Man. And then he gets his head, and he knocks his head up. he walks to like a beam or some shit. Tink.
So yeah, Spider-Man 3.
I mean, it's a loaded fucking movie because everybody hates it.
Now the lead up. We heard Sandman was going to be the first villain.
Should have just left him as that.
Yeah. And then we heard Venom was going to be part of it. And then like literally a month before the movie came out, we find out New Goblin is going to be in it.
Yeah.
Not Hobgoblin, not Green Goblin 2.
No, Electric Boogaloo.
New Goblin. That's the official name, New Goblin.
I didn't like that.
I hated it.
Here's how you could have done it. And you would have kept Tobey Maguire for a fourth fucking movie. Sandman enters the picture, and he has a sad story.
It's a great arc.
Yeah. It was an accident, Peter. I accidentally plugged your fucking uncle in the stomach.
Okay, well, I'll get to that. Yeah, but keep going.
But anyway, he's a sad guy anyway.
Right.
Why not Sandman defeat Spider-Man out the gate, Spider-Man not knowing what to do, or laying motionless on the ground.
Yeah.
And he has to pick himself back up because something's flying into the city, a meteor or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And he gets this Venom thing. And now he's strong enough to go toe-to-toe with Sandman.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. He defeats Sandman. You get a complete story arc. And then you see this whole time. And get rid of Harry Osborn out of the movie.
Yeah.
Put him in for about 5 fucking minutes at the end of him. And what is Harry Osborn doing this whole movie? Oh, he's been tinkering with this goddamn suit. And what does he pull out? He doesn't like the green.
Yep.
Because that was the old Goblin.
Yep.
Why not just
maybe orange?
A flesh tone. Can you imagine a flesh tone Goblin suit and him just pulling that over and it just looks like fucking flesh coming on?
And it looked like the Hobgoblin.
Make him go flying out the fucking window like Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
And Bruce Campbell seen it, going, oh my God! What the hell was that? And like just freaking the fuck out. And it's this Hobgoblin flying into the night after Sandman willingly goes to prison, and he's still got the black suit on.
Yep. That would be good.
Spider-Man 4. Morrison's Dream.
But no, and I fully agree. They tried putting too much in it, and
that's what they do with all these fucking superhero movies.
And by this point in time, I'm watching that '70s show all the time, and then it goes, Topher Grace is going to be Eddie Brock, and I'm like,
really?
Eddie Brock is a jacked motherfucker.
Yeah.
Topher Grace.
Kurtwood Smith would have been a better.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here going, I'm like,
dumbass.
Yeah, I'm just like, Eric is not Eddie Brock. This doesn't work. I don't know how I feel about that.
Eric is not a villain, period.
But I will say Spider-Man 3 gave me my first taste of movie leaks.
Yes. So much stuff came out about that.
This was the first time I was able to really, like, I was finding stuff like hardcore. Like, I found early test footage of like Venom and shit like that.
Spider-Man 3 came out around the time, X-Men 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, around about the same time. Yeah, but it's like I remember scouring message boards because there was a rumor that there was a leaked that there was trailer footage that they were stitching together for like Comic-Con, and this was before everyone had like a really good cell phone to like film shit. So like if they showed it at Comic-Con, that was it. There was no way it was getting online, kind of thing. The rumor was that someone fucking filmed it and that they showed Venom for a second. It looked awesome, and it's the trailer we all got to see. But the CGI wasn't finished on it. So it's the trailer we got to see where, the symbiote drips on Eddie, and then the final scene is, the Venom going at the camera, and then say Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
That's the trailer that was shown, but it just wasn't fully rendered. Well, I eventually found it, and dude, the early render of Venom looked so cool. He didn't have the the Spider-Man suit texture on him. It was like smooth Venom with like big, stark white eyes.
Yeah.
I had never been so hyped in all of my life because of hours looking for this thing with dial-up. And it's like, and I found this. Like, I was jumping up and down in my seat going, it looks so good. I'm so fucking excited.
You know where the Venom costume came from?
It was a fan submission for the black suit, and they paid him like $50, and that was it.
But I will say, Todd McFarlane is the one that drew it for the comics.
Yeah, he refined it.
Yeah, man, Todd McFarlane did a great.
I was gonna say between
Ken's
that,
got a comic of that. The first appearance of Venom with Todd McFarlane.
I'll say between Venom and Spawn. I mean, that's kind of a similar bulk of a character to
I love Spawn.
draw too. So that kind of fits his vibe anyway.
But my main gripe with it, I can look. I will. This is how much this bugged me. I can look past New Goblin. I can look past shitty Venom. I hated the twist that Sandman killed Uncle Ben.
Really?
I remember watching that in theaters, and when that scene came on, when they were in the police interrogation room and they showed them the file and they were talking about things, I remember seriously sitting there going, and just like frowning and like just slowly sitting back and just shaking my head going like, no.
It just took you out of the movie.
It really did. It sucked every bit of excitement I had out of the movie. I was just like, oh no, I don't like this. And that set me on a bad foot. That really upset me. And the reason it upset me is because in the first movie, Peter basically kills the dude.
Yeah.
He throws him out a goddamn window. He has to learn from that.
Yeah.
He learned from that to become the better hero.
Yeah.
You took that away from him. Now he's just killed a random fucker. Now, yes, he can still learn from that, but the reason for everything is different. He felt like he got vengeance, but it didn't satisfy him.
The whole point of that is about growth.
Yeah. Now he finds out the true killer is still out there. Real growth hasn't happened.
Well, that's
And
actually,
that, to me, it feels like it knocked him back a few pegs.
well, that's actually a common story trope in a lot of literature. That, oh no, you have it wrong altogether.
I feel like there's just different ways they could have done that with it, though.
But that's I look at it as a literary standpoint. Like, yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a good twist.
And it was a fine twist. It just, I don't know.
It's different when you do it on film like that, though, especially in a series.
Yeah, it just kind of bugged me. I don't know.
Well,
There's
it's like
something about
the
it.
Batman. Who kills Batman's parents? Joe Chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the newest Joker movie, he kills him.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. But that movie has a whole new story arc on it.
Yeah. That's alternate universe shit.
But that's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, I like it.
Because Jack Nicholson kills him. Kills his parents too.
Yeah.
But in a series like this, where it's all where Spider-Man's entire come to Jesus moment is the death of his uncle, and that was the most profound effect on his life, and knows who did it and did something about it, and everything that made that narrative what it was just kind of, like you said, gets swept under the rug with the fucking Sandman narrative.
Yeah,
and just
and it feels like there was enough narrative for the Sandman there to begin with, because there is a lot of deleted scenes that's on the Blu-ray of like a lot more of him caring about his daughter. Like there was a scene where the daughter was playing in like a sandbox, and she was building like a sandcastle, and all of a sudden the sandcastle slowly started growing and getting bigger and massive, and she's like looking back at it going like, oh, wow, and she's like totally impressed by the whole thing, and she's like, mommy, look, and like the mom kind of gets a sense of what's happening, and she's like, come on, it's time to go, we need to go. And she's like, but mommy, look, it's beautiful. She's like, no, we've got to go. And she like pulls him away, and it's like, and you can slowly see like a face kind of forming, and it's like you can see him like tearing up a little bit, and like upsetting him, being like, this is the closest I can get to my daughter to be able to spend time with her, and I can't even do that.
You know what's funny? The same story arc for Sandman is the same story arc for Ant-Man.
Yep, it really is.
Holy
weird.
shit, you're right.
But yeah, so it's like they
must commit crime to be with my daughter. The actions of my crime get me closer to my daughter.
You could say that it was justified.
Yeah, but like it's I love seeing that.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you mean your story arc is this? Huh? Well, that happened to him too. But he raped and murdered people.
But yeah, but it feels like they just had so much there to work with that they didn't have to give Sandman that extra layer. Because I get why they did it. Like, we can fast forward to the end, because when other things happen that we can talk about, after all that's taken care of, he has one more talk with Sandman.
Yeah, really. We can talk about that in a bit too.
We'll get all there, but no, just talking about Sandman specifically.
He's doing the fucking
he's doing the dance
hands,
over here.
Tobey Maguire dance.
So he has a moment with Sandman at the very, very, very end of the movie, and he goes, "I forgive you for what you did."
Okay.
And I'm just like, we didn't need that though. He already had us come to agreement moment. We didn't need to go through that journey again.
That's just lazy writing. That dude was just kind of like, then they become friends. Where's the next gig?
Well, yeah, because Raimi was getting so annoyed with so much studio interference that he was just like, I'm just fucking putting whatever on paper. Yeah. Down to even when apparently Peter gets the symbiote suit, he decides that he is a jazz dancer.
Yeah, we talked about how shitty
when I see Venom, I think of Nat King Cole.
Yeah.
We talked about how shitty the relationship dynamic between MJ and Peter throughout all three of these movies, and they just didn't even care with this one.
Oh, yeah, God. Right out the gate.
They are hateable people.
Yeah.
All of them are hateable people.
Right out the gate, it's some bullshit, because Peter does the upside down kiss with Gwen Stacy in public right in front of MJ. He's talking to her the whole time going, oh, look, they love me. His ego is just fucking off the fucking radar. And he's like so cocksure of himself because the city loves him. He's about to propose to MJ, all this other stuff. And she's just about had fucking enough of it at this point with his cocky behavior. And I love that scene with the maitre d, Bruce Campbell again, where he's the French maitre d, but he keeps swapping between like French and Spanish.
Yeah,
he's like, see, he's like that. I don't think that's shush.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm gonna propose to my girl. I was.
Why would you do that? I just saw a man fly out of a building with a flesh mask.
And he's like,
the end is nigh.
He's like, I was wanting to know if the band could play this song, and he like hands it to him. He's like, oh, fine choice. And he goes, yeah, and this is the ring. If maybe you could put it like in the glass of champagne, and like bring it to us. And he's like, oh, let me see the ring. And he hands it to him, and he's like, looks at it. He's like, starts squinting at it, pulls out a fucking like magnifying glass, like a monocle out, puts it in. He goes, oh, starts tapping. He's like, there it is. It's just like, fuck you little asshole.
Yeah. Fuck you, Mysterio.
That's hilarious. Yeah, he was supposed to be Mysterio.
In Spider-Man 4, I was going to lead up to that. Yeah, because in every main moment of his life, in Peter's life, he was there. Because in Spider-Man 2, he couldn't get in the play.
Yeah.
Because he kept going. He's like, shoes tied. You want to fix your tie there? Yeah, but no, I still can't let you in. We can't open the doors after it started. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, fuck yourself. Yeah. So, I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, just all of that, and that's what the symbiote was attracted to, was the cockiness and the greed and just being so sure of everything.
Fed off of emotions.
So apparently that means because the symbiote suit is supposed to heighten the person's senses. It's like really fucking good weed.
Yeah.
So if
Yo,
you're an
brother,
ass,
you want some dank ass shit? I got you.
Venom is supposed to heighten your senses. Carnage works like PCP.
yeah,
You want to go steal a car?
yeah,
You want to go eat a car?
yeah.
Yo, brother, I got that Venom. I got that Carnage. Which one you want?
Yeah.
God, that's what they, yes.
Yeah.
That's what they need to start naming
Yeah,
drugs.
Venom is like weed. If you're an asshole and you get the symbiote, you're going to be a bigger asshole. You know, it's like if you smoke weed and you're an asshole, you're going to be a bigger asshole because you don't give a fuck.
You want that new Goblin or you want that old Goblin?
But yeah, so
I want that hob, son.
that apparently makes him want to dance down the fucking street with fucking jazz hands, fucking pointing at girls and
But
thinking he's
keep in
hot
mind,
shit.
Yeah,
the
he got
music's
the-
playing.
Yeah.
But he's walking down the street. There's nothing playing.
Yeah.
People, those are real reactions, probably.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Tobey Maguire doing?
Why is he dressed
Is
like
he
an
losing his
asshole?
mind?
Yeah, and then he walks in this fucking store, walks out all like decked up in like this nice suit, and like fucking starts air humping and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, please stop. Please.
He's like finger guns.
And then like
Yeah.
and then like 2 seconds later, he's like walking the street, he looks, he sees MJ walking in this bar, and he's like, oh no. He decides to take Gwen Stacy to the bar he knows MJ is working at. That's what it was, because he was gonna fucking play the passive aggressive asshole card and be like, oh well, I've already got a new girl and I'm gonna show her off in front of you. Fucking starts playing the piano, like steals her song moment, like in the middle of her song starts playing fucking piano, all this other bullshit, and dude fucking hauls off and smacks her.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's a fucking wife beater in this fucking movie.
Terrible people in this movie.
I will say, he was good enough to hold it back, because if Spider-Man smacks you, your skull's going to spin that direction. Like he should have, her head should have turned all the way around.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like
Kudos to Peter Parker for holding back. All right.
yeah, it's like some shit was going down, and MJ was trying to get Peter off, and he just turned around and hauled off and smacked the fuck out of her. But that's kind of what the moment he realized, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, even though it was fucked up,
He's
it's
like, maybe I'm the asshole.
yeah, maybe I'm the problem here. And the
Venom's
whole
like,
time fucking Harry is fucking, taunting him.
Memory loss.
Yeah, we can
Harry
talk about
Osborn.
the bonk. Early in the film, while he's trying
Again, lazy writing.
earlier in the film, before Bruce Campbell makes fun of his ring, we find out it was a family heirloom. It was what, Aunt May's ring or something?
Yeah, some bullshit.
Yeah, it was some family heirloom. So he's on the way trying to get to the restaurant, and all of a sudden, New Goblin picks his ass up off the street, and starts parading him around town. And it's this whole thing of like the cat and mouse thing. If he's trying to swing
the
away,
glider, but it's like a surfboard.
yeah, it's a fucking surfboard. It looks stupid as hell, and it's like the ring keeps getting knocked out of Peter's hand, and he keeps having to
It's
grab
like a focal
it.
point constantly.
Yeah,
That's so cartoony.
but then at some point he gets away from New Goblin and fucking strings up a clothesline, knocks his ass, New Goblin off his fucking glider. He goes tumbling down, smacks his fucking head on the way down, to what Chris was saying, just to the point of you're like, God damn, and he hit the pavement hard.
He's dead.
And it's not like he's getting like the fucking indestructible powers that fucking Norman
But he
got with the suit, did he? Oh, okay.
He had the Goblin serum.
Spider-Man doesn't know that shit.
He doesn't. So that's the fucked up thing.
That could have been another Bruce Campbell moment. Like, oh my God, he murdered a man. Oh God, what is the city coming to?
In that moment, Peter's...
And it's not even in Spider-Man costume. It's just Peter in fucking everyday wear.
I saw a man in a suit take a demon for a ride, and he murdered him, and he turned into a man. Yeah, I need to stop smoking this carnage.
Carnage, you say?
What's his real name? What is his name?
Cletus Cassidy.
And Cletus goes.
Hey, Cletus.
Bruce Campbell running back to Cletus Cassidy. This is bad shit, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he just takes another.
Yeah. Yeah, so that leads all that shit together, and just it eventually cultivates into the whole. Spider-Man's fighting Sandman off and on throughout the film, and he
There's that
eventually.
one cool scene they do with the crane in the building.
Yeah, that's in the final. That's in the final scene.
Yeah.
So every movie has a big New York come together moment.
A Joey
Yeah.
Diaz moment.
Pretty much.
Hey, we were New Yorkers.
Yeah. So in the
Hey,
first,
cocksuckers, hold hands.
So in the first,
across the city.
He's in the second movie.
well, he was in the first one too. Well, yeah, he's second movie. Second movie.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. So in the first one, it was the big everyone throwing trash at the Green Goblin, saying, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. All that.
Throw your
bullshit.
fucking trash at these pieces of shit, cocksuckers.
And then the second movie, they had a big New York United moment
On
with
the train, yeah.
And then everyone kind of going, you're gonna have to go through me. You have to go through
Chris
me.
is dying over
I
here.
know.
I picture the scene where Joey Diaz is in on the train.
Yeah.
And they're like, take off his fucking mask.
Who is this fucking cocksucker? Just a fucking kid.
It's like, what the fuck? Joey Diaz is like, hey, Joe Rogan, I took his fucking mask.
I kidnapped his ass.
I fucking know who Spider-Man is. No one fucking gives a shit, though.
Then we dropped acid and fucking just robbed.
He's just a fucking kid. He's just a fucking kid.
I went to Holland and showed it up to all the black kids.
I showed him the real New York. Bruce Campbell was just like,
Clean this shit up.
And then Bruce Campbell was just like, holy shit, they're getting drugs.
Turns out Bruce Campbell's from like Kansas this whole time. He's like, the city is scary. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So in the third movie, the big New York United is Peter gets rid of the symbiote suit, gets on Eddie. Venom goes talks to Sandman, and they're like, "Let's go fuck up Spider-Man's day. I know who he is." They're like, "Sweet, we'll pull him out of hiding." They get him to the fucking construction site, and Spider-Man's just getting his ass beat. They've got MJ, classic trope, all that shit, and he is far away from the action at this point. And he needs to get over there quick, and nothing is fucking working. And then all of a sudden, you see all the fucking cranes. Hey, Spider-Man, we got your fucking cranes here.
God damn it.
Chris was cracking up, and I'm like, I see my moment.
Grab your dick and salute the flag, motherfuckers.
Get the fucking crane. This fucking kid needs it.
It's so much fucking worse. Just picture Joey Diaz. What was this motherfucker on 9/11?
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, because I threw the fucking planes in the buildings. Yeah, boo me.
Fuck me, right?
Yeah, I'm the TSA.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
But no, so that was kind of a cool moment. He's down and out, and you get one more New York United moment where they kind of... No! The cranes weren't in that one. That was Spider-Man. That was Amazing Spider-Man.
I was about to say, we didn't get that
That's
moment.
right.
in the
That
third
was
one,
that
I don't
one.
think.
What was-
That scene is really crazy.
It was cool,
film.
though. Yeah.
It's filmed a weird way.
What was the New York United moment in Spider-Man 3?
Was there one? I can't even remember just because so much happens in that movie outside
I think it was
of
just
that.
the New York love for Spider-Man in general, because
Yeah.
even the newscast near the end was like, is this the end of Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah.
Shit like that.
Just Joey Diaz at the church where Eddie Brock gets the suit and he's like,
Hey, what
kill
the fuck is that?
Yeah, kill that black motherfucker.
He's a fucking demon.
I gave him a stabbing.
It didn't work.
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz trying to fucking stab Venom, and he's just like, what are you doing?
It's like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just smoke?
Yeah, so
Looking at
then...
the knife and looking at a crack pipe.
Yeah,
Fuck me right.
So after Harry comes back from his little amnesia trip throughout the whole movie, he decides, I'm gonna help Peter, and he
I'm
decides
gonna help him, all right.
yeah. So he winds up helping him by he helps get rid of the Sandman, or like at least kind of get him at bay, and then he sacrifices himself to kill Venom, kill the symbiote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, because he threw. Well, no, Eddie killed himself because all they really did was they threw a pumpkin bomb in there, and Eddie jumps in after it, and he goes blowing up. But that was enough to get. Well, no, he still sacrificed himself because he jumped in front of the glider.
Yeah.
Because Venom had the glider and was about to fucking put it through Peter, and fucking Harry jumps in front of it and gets impaled like his fucking dad.
Right. But no, so much happens in that fucking movie. Like we were saying, the writers just crammed way too many villains and way too many storylines. Storylines that don't, matter to the narrative of the fucking series.
Yeah. And even the way they ended it wasn't very satisfying. You can tell they wanted to make a fourth one.
They kind of still had a cliffhanger, like with an MJ Peter moment.
Yeah, because they just kind of danced. And it just kind of did like a slow fade away.
And you're watching going like, this happened in the last movie.
Yeah, and it's just like, you don't...
Are you going to break up again in the next movie?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like you don't fully know if... It's like, that's how they end every time. You never know if they're fully together or not. It's really weird.
And that's why that relationship sucks.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, guys.
Toxic fucking relationship.
Yeah, where are we at time-wise?
I was going to say, talking
hour
about
30.
the animated series and the first series, we've kind of done a pretty hefty episode. I think we can make one more episode out of the
last four.
Spider-Man,
the last
for sure.
4 ones, yeah,
Well,
if we want to do that.
Well, if we're going to do that, let's round out with the MVP of the fucking
The
series.
MVP,
in my
the number
opinion.
1 grade A person throughout this entire franchise.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson.
Alex Jones.
Not yet. He wasn't Alex Jones in this one yet, I don't think. I didn't get the Alex
Spider-Man's
Jones.
trying to make the frogs gay.
But I love all of his fucking one-liners. He had the best lines in all 3 movies, bar none.
Yeah.
Period.
Bring me more pictures of Spider-Man.
You said more pictures of Spider-Man. Or you say it's just stuff like a coffee black. Actually, it's like put cream in. Actually, no, not at all.
Yeah. It's
Just shit like
Fucking
that.
mind.
And he's always yelling at that one intern, Coblin, or whatever his
yeah.
name is.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm right here.
No, my favorite J. Jonah Jameson moment is when Goblin picks him up in the first movie, and J. Jonah Jameson's still keeping that, journalist code. It's like, I'm not going to tell anybody, yada, yada, yada. I haven't said a word to
Is it
anybody.
number
I'm
2
not going
where
to give
he
you my
gets the
sources.
shredded Spider-Man suit?
Yeah, because we didn't gloss over that. But yeah, in Spider-Man 2, when he loses his powers, he just dumps the suit in the trash can. Well, basically, a guy on the street finds it, puts it in a bag, tries selling it to J. Jonah Jameson, and he hangs it up in the wall. And then something happens, and you hear the window open up, and like that, and he turns around, and he's lamenting him. He was like, he may have actually been a pretty good guy after all. He really just wanted to make a difference, And
that's when Cletus Cassidy comes busted in. He's been selling dope to children this whole time. Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Because I remember what it was, because he needed help because he was worried about MJ. Yeah. And because his fucking kid's about to marry him, so he's worried about his new daughter-in-law,
White trash from Brooklyn.
Yeah, and now he's like, now we kind of need Spider-Man. I may have been a little too hard on him. He turns around, he's like, that thief! He stole that suit! That was my suit! Fucking Spider-Man's a menace! And he's like fucking right back on it again.
Somebody posted online as this website I'm on, and somebody posted as Spider-Man had saved like part of New York from a group called AIM.
Yeah.
And Peter Parker had pictures made up and stuff like that, but Jameson picked out the one he wanted.
Yeah.
And in the comic, he's like, in the headline, Spider-Man helps AIM destroy parts of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Man had help fighting AIM. It was Captain America.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene in the comic where Captain America comes busting into the fucking, what is it called?
Daily Bugle.
Daily Bugle. And he's like, look, motherfucker. And he's like, oh, Cap, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
what could I get you? What do you need? He's like, yeah, this bullshit story you wrote. He's like, you're going to change it because he was out there helping me.
Yeah.
And back in my day, we used to beat up guys like you who had mustaches like that. And they gave you target the mustache, the short little mustache he had. And
I remember that, and he made him shave it.
Yeah. And then there's like the next one, Captain America and Spider-Man Save the City. And I'm just like, that would have been so cool if that was a scene in like one of the movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like if he had help. Like, you see a lot of like villains being brought up in movies. Bring another hero in.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Batman
I
v
still
Superman.
think we might get Daredevil in the next Spider-Man movie.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have to defend poor Tom Holland.
I think that might happen. I think
hope
Matt
so.
Murdock may wind up being his lawyer because of some shit Mysterio started.
Yeah.
But that'll be in
cool.
the next episode of the Couch Brotatoes, because I think the Sam Raimi trilogy is still the best trilogy. It may have kind of fizzled out and farted out at the end with Spider-Man 3, but I think Spider-Man 1 being pretty damn good, Spider-Man 2 being so great, and in retrospect, number 3 being serviceable. It's not horrible.
It's a Star Wars situation.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this is my original trilogy, and I think it's good.
None of those are my favorite Spider-Man movie, though.
Yeah, I that's fine. But yeah, my number 1 is in that list, and it may be a little bit of nostalgia for me, but I really enjoy those films.
It's just kind of fun going into something like this to where like it's more like ours as to how Batman was like our parents and grandparents growing up.
Well, when we were talking about the Nolan verse, that was more ours.
Yeah, that's true. But like but as a whole, as a film franchise.
Yeah, I know what you mean though.
Yeah, they remade these movies so goddamn fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
I've never seen a movie be remade twice within a decade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, but that's 3 times.
Yeah, not 3 times. That was only twice. But we'll get into that for sure. Like I said, on this episode of Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex.
I've been Cap.
Joey Diaz, give me that fucking mask.
It's a fucking kid.